Good morning. So, the topic is detachment. And as Rod alluded to, that could sound kind of scary. Like, I don't want to lose anything. I want to keep what I have. But we surely have all experienced the suffering that comes when we can't hold on to everything. We can't hold on to anything, really. Can't hold on to things, people, situations. We can't hold on to our beliefs, because eventually, thank goodness, they crumble. Fabulous reading, and as Rod said, I hope you really listen to that, because there's a lot there. So, as we think about detachment, maybe the word of unattachment might be a little bit easier to deal with, to live with. And it's unattachment, or looking at our attachments and becoming more expansive, is certainly a spiritual practice that we find in all the world's religions and traditions. So it doesn't really matter which it's coming from. We as humans are very, very much alike and have very much the same issues. So it seems to me you're born and then you're figuring out, who am I? What am I? And you spend your early life, and sometimes your middle life, and sometimes till the very end, trying to be what you think you ought to be, what people have told you you need to be, what you get praise for being, what you get admonished for being, and so that you don't want to be that. But, we're sort of bombarded and immersed in a culture that is asking, who are you? What do you do? What's your job? Are you married? Do you have kids? Where are you from? Which football team do you root for? You name it. We're just bombarded with ways of defining who we are. And we can become attached to that definition that we create with the help of others. And so I want us to just think about, who do you think you are right now? What are your adjectives? I'm male, female, tall, short, fat, thin, married, single, divorced, separated, whatever, our gender identity, our education. Where'd you go to school? Are you ashamed about where you did not go to school? Or, did I get enough education? So there's sort of the negative side of I'm not enough. And then there's the grandiose side of, I went to such and such school, aren't I great? Or I've excelled to this level, in my career, and aren't I great? And it's all so false, isn't it? Every bit of it is so false. None of it is who we are. Who we are. Who we are. We're love. We're love. It's all we can. It's the best word you can say. We're love. And nothing can take that away. When you really get down to you pull away all the layers, what's left? Love. Love is left. So we take on these identities. We play these roles. And one of my favorite remembrances of sort of a quote or something I heard Ram Dass say on a tape once was, play your roles lightly. And he talks about, meeting up with someone and saying, they have that namaste moment, where you look into someone's eyes and everything else is dropped away except just the depth of the love that's being reflected between each of you. And, he says, like, who are you? who are you? And, back and forth, who are you? And, there's like no answer. It's just, we're just here. And so he says, play your roles lightly. We're not saying don't have a role, just go sit in a cave and, be love all by yourself. But, we're going to have roles. We're going to have, loose identities because we want to interact with one another. We want to share and thank goodness that Marlena sings. And I forgot your name, but, the music that you provide, and Alora, where are you? The music you provide, and everything that everybody does here. Like, thank goodness that you do it. Thank goodness you show up here and you share it. We're all unique. Nothing about not being unique and having wonderful gifts to share. But we need not be attached to that's who I am, because things happen. I work as a speech and language pathologist in my other life, and I work primarily with people who've had brain injuries, and they lose a lot. They can really lose a lot of function, and more devastatingly sometimes is their identity. Like, who am I now? I can't speak. I can't, I drool. I can't swallow well. I can't walk. I can't support my family. So many things change sometimes. But, there's still that love, So, the point is we can be certain ways and serve in many ways, and sometimes it just shifts and changes, and so we need not be attached. So did you come up with some adjectives about who you think you are? And so who we think we are can make a difference in how we present ourselves through the day. I was thinking about this yesterday. I went to the grocery store, and I thought, I'm going to practice looking at who I think I am at the grocery store. So I was the helpful one at first. As I was walking in, there was a lady with her shopping cart trying to come out the entrance. And so I helped her find the exit, and I went on. And then I was kind of the semi-judgmental one at one point, where the cashier was really tired, I could tell. It's right before 4th of July. There's a lot of people in the store, and she was tired, and she kind of wasn't really bagging my stuff. She was just putting it on top of that carousel. Anything that was in a bag, the apples, the oranges, was on the carousel instead of in the bags. And she was just really tired and wasn't moving my stuff, the way it would have been helpful. And so I noticed myself judging, like, geez, I'm the customer, I'm paying for this. And this is your job, and I noted that, yeah, there I am. I want to be a loving, kind, appreciative person, and there I am judging this person who's tired. And I also offered, from my heart, some compassion, so I caught myself, that's good. But, just in an hour's time, I was just very aware. Let's see, I bought something. Oh, the apples. Couldn't find a nice-looking bag of the kind we usually buy. And so I bought a different kind. And then I'm thinking, I wonder if Randall likes that kind. Or maybe he likes that kind better, and he only buys the other kind because he thinks I like the other kind better. And it's just entertaining to watch how our thinking is, and how, every one of those little thoughts can either lead to contraction, tightness, or expansion. And so I invite us all to be more vigilant of our thoughts, to pick a thing during the day, like, all right, when I go do this, I'm going to devote that period of time to watching how I think about things, and watching how who I think I am interacting with all these people affects how I behave. Just spend a few moments each day doing that, and you start to see, yeah, I get trapped here and there. I get stuck, and what that does is not opening my heart; it's causing, tightness and closure. So I wanted to, there's a list of things these are clues that you're attached. If you feel anxiety, fear, jealousy, anger, hopelessness, sadness, disconnection, pride, or vanity, if you feel any of those things, those are clues that you're attached. Now, a few thoughts came to mind. Like, have you ever looked at photographs? Like maybe a photograph was taken here, and you look at it, and are you looking for yourself? I confess, I do that. Am I in that picture? How do I look? Oh, my hair. So, that's a little bit of vanity, right? And as long as you can laugh about it, it's going to happen. It's like the coffee, you just laugh about it like, oh, there's vanity. It's all right. But if I think, I'm not in that picture, how come, what does that mean? They must not like me. I'm not special. Or I'm in the picture and I don't like how I look and I'm dwelling on it, and it's making me feel less than, So that's all the difference. It's our approach, it's how it makes us feel, and how we make ourselves feel. And the one about pride, I wanted to share a little story about my conversation with a young Amish girl when I was on the train. I took the train to California and back, and it was a great experience because I got to meet lots of people, and I was by myself, so I have to do the talking, When I'm with somebody, I let them do the talking. But there I was, and so there's this young woman, and I've never spoken to someone who is Amish, never had I don't even know if I've ever said hello to someone who's Amish before. And I was a little nervous. I thought, I don't want to be intrusive, but I'm really curious about her life and, what it's like to be Amish. And, and so gradually, we did a little chit-chat and we kind of opened up. And at one point I asked her, how are you treated? Being Amish in this culture and, and around people who are not Amish, how are you treated? She says, well, actually, we're treated very well. It wasn't always that way, but we seem to be receiving a lot of, adulation because we're seen as being very spiritual. And she says, but there's a danger there because we can become prideful from that adulation. And so it's a practice for us to, not make that mean something. And I thought, wow, that's a pretty interesting perspective. So pride can bring us down, something to think about. So, and so, there are a couple of situations I've come across where I'm less, where I find more freedom, let me put it that way, more freedom from my role of who I think I am. And one is when I'm on vacation. It's sort of like you're in a new place, you know that nobody knows you, and, there's a loosening of roles. I don't have to be this or that. I'm not working, so I'm not who I think I am in my job. usually you dress in a more relaxed way, and you're in just new places, you're seeing new things and meeting new people, and there's a little bit more shedding of feeling like you have to be a certain way. And another place where I've experienced a really wonderful dropping of role is when I'm in a silent retreat. And the gift of having to be silent is just tremendous. There's no need for you to explain who you are, because you can't talk. Not even necessarily supposed to have eye contact, You're supposed to allow space for people to be alone with themselves. I mean, that's kind of sort of the purpose of retreat and deep meditation, is to look within. And there's just great power with sitting in a room full of people, everyone's silent, not pretending to be somebody or needing to be somebody, just being present as souls, sitting together, sharing a little mini journey, but not having to prove yourself or be something. So those are very freeing. That particularly has been for me an experience of great freedom. And of course, meditation is always the answer to dropping our roles and dropping our beliefs, just looking and seeing where those attachments are, and seeing how fleeting they are, and how much freer you feel when you have dropped those attachments. And so definitely meditation in the moment is great, but then there's the carry-through, it sticks with you. You just move more freely, and you are less reactive and, less stuck. And so I wanted to just end with, a reminder. A reminder. So if we're not all of that, then what are we? And Mary Alice said it beautifully from the reading. I'm a loving creation of divine intelligence. I'm a loving child of God. Whatever words resonate for you, we're spirit, we're soul, we're perfection, and we're having this human experience, and we're bringing into the human experience the love that we are. And there's a poem which you all have probably heard by Rumi. I'm taking somebody else's notes here. Where did Rumi go? There. Only breath, only breath. Not Christian or Jew or Muslim, not Hindu, Buddhist, Sufi, or Zen, not any religion or cultural system. I am not from the east or the west, not out of the ocean or up from the ground, not natural or ethereal, not composed of elements at all. I do not exist. Am not an entity in this world or in the next. Did not descend from Adam and Eve or any origin story. My place is placeless, a trace of the traceless, neither body or soul. I belong to the beloved, have seen the two worlds as one, and that one call to know, call to and know, first, last, outer, inner, only that breath, breathing, human being. And that's what I think. So now it's open mic time.